Okay, everybody, this is our pasting demonstration for collage exercises. I've got a few things set up here, things that you'll need from the class list. We have nori paste and certainly brushes to apply the glue. Got paper to adhere my collage material onto, and I've also got scrap paper on the side for putting my collage material down and applying the glue on the back. So I'll go through just gluing a couple things here. May seem a bit self-explanatory, and it is to a degree, but there's some key points here as we're gluing things that I'd like to make sure that you're aware of. So my scratch paper here, my extra sheet of paper, is so that I don't get glue on a tabletop surface or my cutting mat or all over my sketchbook or other areas where I don't want the glue to be. So I'm going to use that first here. Note about the nori paste. This stuff is really great. It's a beautiful consistency for collage. It's not as thin as, say, Elmer's glue, so it doesn't pour right out, but it's a nice brushable consistency. That's one of the reasons I really like it. Gets things to stick flat, even delicate papers. Here, this is just a basic magazine page. I just tore a piece out. I'm going to apply some glue to the back. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to, just got my glue. I'm going to take some glue onto the brush. And then I'm going to brush the glue onto the back, but here's the important part. My scratch paper is so that I can brush glue all the way off every single edge here, right? Notice how the scratch paper is catching all the excess glue because I'm making sure to brush glue all the way off the collage material onto the scratch paper. This ensures that every part of your collage material is going to stick down. And in addition, you could see this glue, the way it shines with when the light hits it. So you can tell very easily if you have an even application or not. So you want to be careful about applying too much. If it's thick and gooped up glue, then it's going to reflect when you put the material down on the paper. You're going to see lumps in the paper. And then if there's areas that you miss, that you don't apply glue, you're going to get air pockets. So it's very important that you've got a nice, even coating. Notice I'm going over everything specifically, no big globs of glue, and I've gone over everything. I've gone off the edges completely, so I know for sure that this material will stick on all sides, all areas. I'm going to take my paper that I'm collaging onto, picked up my collage material here, and then I'm just going to gently put that down. Typically, laying one side down first, and then kind of moving across is the best application. If you drop it right away, sometimes it tends to create an air pocket in the middle. And I'm just going to press by hand. Just take my palm, press that down. If I see little air pockets or anything, just kind of press with my fingers. But I am very happy with that application there, completely flat. I don't see there's not glue squeezing all out the sides, which means you applied too much glue. And if that was the case, when I put my hand down, it would stick to my hand and then lift the whole paper up. So I know there's not glue squeezing out the sides. I'm looking at an angle, I don't see air pockets in there. So this is a great application, very happy with that. And so that's the trick, is you want to make sure it's the right amount of glue and you're brushing off all the sides, because one of the most frustrating things in collage is you glue something down and then the edges are sticking up, and then it creates an aesthetic that's not really desirable because there's pieces coming off. It doesn't look like it was done with the knowledge of how to utilize the actual materials properly. So again, very important to have this done as far as a technical aspect of it. I'll go ahead and just go through one more here just to reiterate. And of course, you guys can rewind and watch the video as many times as you need to get the idea. But let's swap out over here and we'll do one more. So this is just a torn piece of newsprint, so I'm just going to use newsprint for this one. the same process, no matter the size of the collage material. It could be really small, it could be large, but it's the same process here. So again, notice I'm going off all edges here, ensuring that there's glue everywhere, pinning down with my fingers so it's not getting away from me, and then just going over the entire thing to make sure the application is even. And you can probably see on the video, actually, when I lift these up, you might be able to see this sort of halo of where the glue is around the paper. That is another way to tell me, okay, I went off all the edges. Everything should be nice and even, stick flat. So I'll take this guy. Glue that down, pressing with my palm again. And there we have it. Got a couple nice collage pieces back to back there, adhered completely flat. If I move this at an angle, maybe you could see in the video, no air pockets. The next important thing after you glue something down is to, well, if you're still working on it, you keep going. But if you are done working on it, or if you're going to be cutting up more material and this is just sitting and drying, very important that you put this under something flat and heavy while it dries. So you can maybe already see the paper starting to kind of ripple just a little bit. And what's happening is as that glue gets into the paper fibers and it's going to dry, it's going to contract some of those paper fibers and it's going to want to create this sort of ripple effect along the paper. Again, that's undesirable sort of effect. We want these to be as flat as possible. So what I would do at this point, I don't have a book handy, but I've got, just grab these. I'm over in the art department here, so I've got a whole bunch of cutting mats. So for example, imagine this is a big heavy book or a bunch of books. While this is drying, I'm just going to do that and I'm going to leave it alone. And you can leave it like this for hours to days and it's perfectly fine. The longer the better, actually, so that when everything dries, nori paste is a slow drying glue, so as it dries, this is going to make sure that your paper stays completely flat. So anytime you're not working on your projects, you want to put them under something heavy and as much weight as possible. So big stack of books, a board, maybe like a wooden panel with as much heavy things as you could find. Whatever you've got around will work. Then when you go to check it out, it'll be completely flat. I can see this guy definitely going to want to have that ripple effect, but I'll go ahead and after the demo, we're going to put it under something heavy. So hopefully that answers your questions in regards to how to properly paste things down. If for some reason you get air pockets in there, not much you can do. But if there are edges that are coming up, you could always lift those, get a little bit of glue, tuck it under that edge, put it back down. It's a bit of a hassle, but it can be done. And I will be looking, even though I can't see them in person, I'll be looking for those technical aspects on your collage. And usually you can see it in a photograph if there's things like that, they're kind of apparent that are sticking off the surface. So that'll wrap up the demo for today. And I look forward to seeing your collages.